Someone should submit their research to an AAPS publication because AAPS values and is committed towards publishing good science. That's what the organization is about. They're high-impact journals, they're credible science.
AAPS is really the leading and largest association and community for pharmaceutical sciences, and that itself offers the best visibility and accessibility for their research. The process for submission to AAPS journal is a rigorous process that normally involves a few steps from initial submission and initial evaluation by the editors, peer review process, revision, and final step of the publication.
The process for submitting a paper is very straightforward. The AAPS uses a system called Editorial Manager that's quite friendly to submitting authors. All of the editors-in-chief will support authors that are considering submitting a paper in terms of the process of submission.
There are many ways to evaluate scientific publications. Our way is the science comes first.
The length of time that it takes for a paper to ultimately be accepted and published from the time of submission ranges a bit between the four journals.
AAPS journals are committed to an efficient publication process. Okay. For example, the initial evaluation only takes a few days for the editor to decide to send a paper for reviewing. And then the eventual publication may take 4 to 5 weeks. Publication integrity is very important for any journals. In our community, number one is we have to implement a transparent and friendly peer review process, right? And we're also working with the publication team to screen the plagiarism and conflict of interest.
So the peer reviewer is really serving the role to making sure that the experiments were conducted soundly, correctly, and that the data that's collected represents and can be reproducible by others in the field.
The reviewers are often the leading and active scientists who are well published as well. The quality, the robustness, the conclusion towards the goal we are trying to convince our audience is what we utilize to evaluate the final decision of a submission.
AAPS journals maintain their strong impact factors by selecting papers that our pharmaceutical scientist peers want to cite in their own work.
We are in that spot to really promote the science, we accept it, and make it visible, accessible.
I would encourage authors when they're considering which AAPS journal to submit their scientific research paper to, that they should consult with the scope of each of the journals and figure out which is the best fit for their paper.
How do you convince people your find is novel and significant? Clearly address that in your introduction. In terms of the drafting step of a manuscript, the very important step is the storytelling. How you connect your result to your conclusion in a vigorous way is very important.
Because once you submit your first paper, the second paper is a little easier. Third is much easier. And then you learn the system, and then the logistics are out of the way. And you really focus on the science and the storytelling in your paper.
We are in that spot to shape our scope and work with the authors to really promote their science to the best visibility and accessibility so we can share the knowledge across the community.
AAPS as an organization is committed to good scientific principles, ethical publishing, and top quality science.
I highly encourage you to submit your research to our journals for the best visibility and accessibility to make the most impact of your research.
I encourage you to submit your research papers to one of the 4 AAPS journals. These journals are high impact, high scientific integrity, and it's a place that your paper will be widely disseminated from.